She, like, as without any warning, she just took the razor and she started cutting my genitals. It's a different kind of pain. Like, you go into shock, and my body just became absolutely numb.
Female genital mutilation, widely known as FGM, is one of the oldest yet least understood forms of gender-based violence in the world. Historians trace its origin to ancient Africa, with evidence suggesting it may have been practiced as early as 2400 years ago in the regions along the Nile Valley. Over centuries, it spread through cultural exchange, migration, and eventually became rooted in certain traditions across communities. FGM refers to all procedures that intentionally alter or injure the female genital organs for non-medical reasons. There are 4 types of FGM. Type 1, clitoridectomy, meaning removal of the clitoris. Type 2, excision, meaning removal of the clitoris and the labia. Type 3, infibulation, meaning a narrowing of the vaginal opening, sometimes through stitching. Type 4, all other harmful procedures not covered by the first 3, including pricking, stretching, scraping, or even using acid to mutilate parts of genitalia. Once more for everyone in the back, it is non-medical and has 0 health benefits. At its core, FGM is a tool of patriarchal control. For centuries, it has been used to regulate female sexuality, ensuring obedience, modesty, and marital worthiness.
I don't want to be like Osai. What if I have a choice?
Choice isn't one of the luxuries of every woman.
By altering or damaging the female body, FGM reinforces the idea that a woman's value lies in her chastity. It limits her autonomy, her pleasure, and her right to choose. Patriarchal systems often position FGM as necessary for social acceptance. A girl who refuses the procedure may face stigma, exclusion, or rejection in marriage. In this way, the practice works as a silent mechanism of control, shaping women's lives long before they even understand their own bodies. FGM is not just a ritual, it is a social structure designed to discipline women.
It's a part of my body. Na kenye wanakufanyia kilazima.
Unasikia tu kuna kitu muhimu kuna kitu sehemu ya mwili muhimu sana ambayo imetoka katika mwili wako.
Unajua kukata sehemu moja ya mwili kuna kitu imekaramia. Sasa uchungu iko kila mara. Iliniuma kimwili na ikaniuma kiroho.
From a medical perspective, FGM has no health benefit. Doctors highlight immediate complications like severe pain, bleeding, infection. The global medical community, from the WHO to national health ministries, unanimously condemns FGM. Medicalization, where trained professionals perform the procedure, is also strongly discouraged because it legitimizes a practice that should not happen at all.
Female genital mutilation makes it much more likely for you to have complications. This is a real picture. I saw this lady myself in my clinic. This girl was about 26 years old, married for about 2-3 years, didn't have a child, and was convinced by the relatives that the reason you're not having a child is because you were not cut. So they went to this old lady who used a razor blade under no form of anesthesia. They removed, as you can see, the clitoris and part of the labia minora. This lady knew nothing about anatomy. She just cut down. And when she cut down, she also cut the urethra, which is the opening that passes the urine. She will be having lots of infections in her life that may destroy her kidneys finally, and this girl's sexual life has been totally destroyed.
Why do you perform this surgery?
It's my personal belief that sensuality And sexuality is one of the basic human senses, in addition to sight, sound, smell, touch. And so you can imagine that if someone had their sense of sight taken from them, what an outrage that would create. So the fact that we can give that back to someone, it is enormous.
When I first started talking about FGM, for one, I was afraid. I'm a Sarahule, and I didn't know what my family would think. I didn't know what the outcome would be. I'm very, very pleased that the Gambian government is here, because I think that in order for us to achieve change, we need you guys to help us do that. We need to empower our girls, and we need to make sure that no girl child is at risk of FGM in this country.
FGM is commonly linked with Islam, especially in Southeast Asia. But Islamic scholars across the world agree on one key point. There is no verse in the Quran that mandates FGM. Many respected Islamic authorities, including Al-Azhar University in Egypt, the Indonesian Ulama Council in recent statements, and scholars from South Asia, state that FGM is a cultural practice, not a religious obligation.
Female circumcision is an issue of dispute among jurors. And the most authentic opinion is that it is recommended. It's not mandatory. And due to the fact that it is recommended, if the government prevents it and outlaws it, then you have to, and you're obliged to obey and refrain from doing it. And alhamdulillah, as I said, it is not something that is mandatory, and staying away from it would be following the law, and there is no sin in that at all.
I'm Sheikh Ibrahim Mogra, Father Brahanu Bisrat.
I'm a barrister specialising in children law and human rights.
I work for a local authority in London.
I work as a lead specialist midwife.
I'm a Detective Chief Inspector in the Metropolitan Police Service.
FGM is a criminal offence in this country. It has been since 1985. Sadly, in those 30 years, we haven't had a single prosecution so far.
I think it's very important that we carry on working with health, education, social services.
That there needs to be mandatory training, so there needs to be an infrastructure, a prevention infrastructure that is government-led.
FGM is not an Islamic practice.
If anything, it contradicts every principle that Islam stands for.
It is not scriptural. It is cultural.
But I also think it's important that we continue to strengthen our links within the communities so that they are encouraged and have the confidence to come forward and tell us about the practices that are currently being undertaken.
Psychological health is as important as physical health.
We need to make sure that all staff in schools have training, and we need to make sure that parents have access to this information as well.
We need to not be afraid of calling it what it is, which is an abusive practice and a child protection issue.
Ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọgbà la máa ń sọ ní àwítúnwí fún àwọn èèyàn wa ní jímọ̀ ó kéré tán lẹ́ẹ̀kan lóṣù a máa ń sọ láti fi rán àwọn èèyàn wa létí tá bá tún lọ síbi gbé sọ ọmọ ní orúkọ tẹ́ bá bímọ lọ́dọ̀ wa tó bá yẹ kó ọmọbìnrin la bá bí á gba àwọn òbí ọmọ yẹn nímọ̀ràn ipò ọmọ wa obìnrin yìí o gẹ́gẹ́ kó lè bá jẹ́ ìlera fún tàbí kó lè bá kó bá àgọ́ ara rẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ iwájú kán gbìyànjú láti má dàbẹ́ fún ọmọ yẹn.
I say no to FGM.
I say no.
I say no.
I say no.
I say no to FGM.